Okay, so I do all this work. I bring all my equipment. I set it up perfectly. I turn on the mic. I start recording. And what's the first thing you do? You turn on your phone. You stop talking. You've been talking the entire day. Both of us have. But the minute that I start recording, dead silence.
Yeah.
This is the first time all day we've had actual dead silence.
I'm sorry. I'm collecting myself. Okay?
No, I'm just
I
kidding.
ranted to you in the car.
Yes.
And I need to just get all my shit together.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that? So we went to Barnes & Noble.
Oh, yeah.
To look at the comics. There's nothing new there.
No, there's not.
But we were talking about Spider-Man on the way home.
Yeah.
Well, to your home. It's
Yeah.
not my home, but
No.
I'm going to call it's my home now.
Yeah.
I'm moving in.
Nice.
Yeah, my stuff's in the car. I'll bring it in.
Cool.
My whole mattress.
You can
in
sleep
the back
in the
of my
attic.
car. Okay, perfect. You have an attic?
I don't have an
I was gonna
attic.
say, I didn't think you did.
I have a small crawl space that probably can't fit my dog.
No, that'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're going to fix Spider-Man.
Let's fix it.
Okay, welcome to the Off the Shelf Podcast. My name is Josh.
I'm Vinny.
And like I just said,
We're going to fix Spider-Man.
we're going to fix Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man has a lot of issues, some things that Vinny's kind of upset about. Why don't you tell us why you're upset about it, Vinny?
Because I love Spider-Man. Right? Ever
okay.
since I'm madly in love with Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I think he's dreamy. No.
Are you
So
going to finally ask him out?
I know, right? So ever since I was a little bean, right? A little bean sprout.
Yeah.
I've always loved Spider-Man. I used to watch the 90s cartoon, the reruns, and I used to watch.
So did Spider-Man love you back? Because that's kind of an issue.
He didn't.
Okay,
He
good.
probably doesn't even know I exist. And I remember, I know, it's sad and pathetic. I remember watching Spectacular Spider-Man. Did you ever watch Spectacular
did, yeah.
Spider-Man? You did?
Wait, is that the one, the animated one?
Yep.
And there's... I think I did.
Yeah.
I watched a Spider-Man cartoon.
Okay.
It might have been The Amazing Spider-Man, if that was a show.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, Ultimate Spider-Man. Did you watch that one?
No, it was definitely Spectacular. Then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is that the one where Harry gets the symbiote?
No.
Oh.
That might be Ultimate.
Might be.
Did Drake Bell voice Peter?
I think he did.
Yeah, that's Ultimate.
Okay, that's what I watched. I think I watched a couple. So, okay,
Yeah.
continue.
Spectacular Spider-Man was such a great show, right? It got all the basics down for Peter Parker. He was 15 in high school. His friends Harry and Gwen, and then eventually Mary Jane. You got and Aunt May. Not that she was his friend.
Oh, so you see Gwen, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gwen, so...
Does she die in the animated show?
No. So...
She's like moves to Canada or something?
No. So
Okay.
Spectacular Spider-Man was canceled because Sony was being a bitch about it, and they were like, no more. Which is a real shame because it's probably the best iteration of Spider-Man on screen, at least in animation form.
Okay. Even, really?
I think so.
Even better than...
Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know. Okay, because the Peter Parkers are very different. I'm not going to judge Miles Morales, right?
Yeah.
Because Miles doesn't show up in Spectacular Spider-Man. It was way before his time.
Have you read any Miles Morales
I
books?
have, yeah.
Okay.
I actually like Miles, and my pitch is going to involve Miles.
Okay.
So keep that character
Because he's
in
in
your
the
brain.
main continuity.
Now he is,
Now,
yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that.
Yes. So, long story short, I love Spider-Man ever since I was a kid. I get
Yep.
the action figures. I love the Tobey movies.
Toby who?
Tobey Maguire, baby.
Who's that?
What do you mean?
Who's
He's
Tobey Maguire?
He starred in films like Pleasantville and Seabiscuit. Brothers with
Brothers,
Jake
yeah, I was
Gyllenhaal.
about to say,
Where he
what's that
goes
one?
fucking berserk.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
It is a
though.
good movie.
Very emotional.
It's a very different Tobey Maguire.
I love Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I think he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
And he's my Spider-Man. People will say, "Oh, he doesn't make jokes." Shut up.
Yeah, he does. He goes, "Hey, did you miss me?"
Yeah.
Doc, maybe? I don't know.
He misses.
Yeah.
He makes so many jokes in those movies.
He does, yeah.
It's insane.
But they don't undercut the serious moments with jokes.
That's the problem.
Like modern Marvel.
People want that.
Yeah.
But so when I started collecting comic books,
Yeah.
right, when my family members would be like, "You're young. You probably should learn how to read. Maybe here's a box full of random issues, right?" And I'd be like, "Wow, it's Spider-Man!"
Yeah.
So I'd read it.
I think that's how everyone starts out.
Oh yeah, that's the best way to get into comics.
Yeah.
Barely being able to read, and then just holding it, looking at the pictures, like, wow. And then you grow up and you're like, this is part 14 of like a 20-issue arc. What?
You had no idea what was going on. You just wanted to look.
You
at the
just looked at the pictures
and you would read it, but you didn't really care about the story.
You weren't reading the words. You were
Yeah.
making up the words as you went along.
Yeah. See, when you're a kid, it's all about the art, but when you're an adult,
It's all about the words and the meaning.
About the art.
It's still about the art.
I still can't read those books.
So, I've read a lot of the major Spider-Man runs.
Yeah.
Like, the majority of them. Maybe not all of them to completion, but I've read what? To completion?
You just edged them.
Yeah.
You just edged the Spider-Man
I'm like,
comics.
sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And so, by reading so
brother.
many, I have in my mind this version of Peter Parker, right?
Okay.
My favorite version of Peter Parker is like I'd say like the 80s Peter Parker.
So you've studied Peter Parker.
Oh yeah.
You know the ins and out of his character.
Yeah.
And you think you have this hubris that makes you believe that you can fix Spider-Man.
Doesn't every writer though?
Yes.
Every writer
Yes. No,
is like,
totally.
I know how to fix the Clone Saga.
Well, maybe not every writer.
Yeah.
But I think writing is a lot harder.
It is.
Like, because I've been working on a book.
Yeah.
I've never talked about that on here, but I've been working on a book, and it's so easy to be like, this is the story.
Yeah.
And then you start writing it, and you're like,
What do I do?
This can't fit here because it doesn't work with the red. It's so complicated.
So complicated.
But it is possible to do. So let's talk about how do we fix Spider-Man?
So here's my pitch, right?
Wait, we were going to talk about the issues. What's wrong with Spider-Man?
Okay, so
Tell me everything that you think is wrong with
the main
current
issues with Spider-Man, and I'm not going to blame Spider-Man because he's a fictional character.
Right, no.
I'm going to blame the writers and Marvel editorial because they don't want Spider-Man to grow up. They don't want his character to progress.
You think the editors have that much say in what goes on?
They have all the say.
Really? Okay.
They're usually they're the ones that are like, okay, you need to write this story, right? They're not like, do you have an idea? They're like, no, we have an idea. You're gonna do it.
Got it. Okay.
Right? These are the points that we want you to make.
So it's not like a writer coming to them and they're like, hey, this is what I've got for Spider-Man.
Probably sometimes.
Let me make the book.
Like if it's a good writer who has the balls.
Or do you think that that's mixed in with the larger story that is pushed onto them?
Probably.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to say every time.
Because sometimes you'll be talking
that.
about a book that you don't like, and there'll be parts of it that you do like.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's more the writer's voice
the editor.
or the editor.
You never know.
Yeah.
So, the problems with Spider-Man is, like I said, they won't let his character progress. He's been 20 years old or so since 1973.
So he's been 20 for 20 years. So he's been
20 for like
70 years.
70 years.
I don't know, just flowed.
and like I understand, you don't want your character to age because if he was 16 in 1963, he'd be who knows how old.
Yeah, and you'd have to face mortality.
He'd be like 80.
Yeah.
And you can't be Spider-Man when you're 80.
Maybe he ages like a spider.
No. I don't want that. That's ridiculous.
Do spiders age differently?
I don't know. I feel like they die quicker than humans.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, we don't know.
You think? Yeah, these little insects. They live for like 200 years.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
So I have like this little selection of Spider-Man throughout the ages, right?
Okay.
So The Death of the Stacys, right? Written by Jerry Conway and art by John Romita Sr. Very classic book. Green Goblin kills Gwen Stacy. We all know the story, right? Peter at this time...
Does the lizard kill Mr. Stacy?
No, Dr. Octopus does.
Okay.
Doc Ock swings his metal arms into like a brick wall or a chimney, and then I think Captain Stacy pushes a kid out of the way and then gets crushed to death.
A heroic death.
Oh yeah, but then he's like, Peter, I know it's you.
Peter,
protect Gwen.
He's like, Peter.
So, and
Can
like,
I say really quick?
Yeah.
There's like a bit of mirroring, some parallels on the cover. On
Yeah.
the front, he's holding Gwen, and on the back, he's holding who I assume
is her dad.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But on the front, he's like shaking his fist into the air.
So back then, I actually believe this was the 70s,
Okay.
where so Gwen dies, and it's, you know, heartbreaking.
So is this book? Sorry to cut you off. Is
No,
this
yeah.
book like a re-release of the old stories?
Oh
Did
yeah,
they
this is like a nice
redo the art or
same art.
looks-
They might have touched up the colors a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Back then, the art was probably
Remastered
printed.
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Back then, like if this was an actual authentic issue from 70 whatever, it would have disintegrated in my hands.
Yeah.
But this is just a nice hardcover collection that
Very
I
cool.
found on eBay for a good price.
I like the cover. It's nice.
It
It's
is.
a nice matte black.
It's a very well made book. I love with the slip cover.
Oh, cool. That I like
looks
that.
really nice.
Yeah.
So, Green Goblin kidnaps Gwen Stacy and throws her off a bridge. We all know the story, you know.
Not down a clock.
No,
A giant clock
no,
tower.
never.
What?
Except for in that movie.
Was it Big Ben? It wasn't, right?
They were in New
though.
York.
I thought she went to England.
She was going to England.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
And
And he
then
was like, "Look out for Jack the Ripper."
yeah.
Something, yeah.
So here's the moment, right? Gwen is thrown off the bridge. Peter shoots some web. It attaches to her ankle. She is killed. Not because of the fall, but because of the whiplash.
Yeah.
So Peter really is the one that kills her, when you think about it. I mean, she would have died either way.
Yeah.
But Peter did snap her neck.
Ethically,
Yeah.
he didn't really kill her, but the series of events.
Yeah,
was-
either way she would have
Like,
died.
could he have saved her if he had jumped after her, or no? He wouldn't have
I
gotten her
don't
fast
think...
enough.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was just, like, a very rash decision he made in the moment
Yeah,
that
he's
bit him in
like-
the ass.
Yeah. Okay.
Where even in, like, Ultimate Spider-Man, this same scenario happens, but with Mary Jane, and Green Goblin throws Mary Jane off a bridge, and Spider-Man shoots webs at each part of her body, like arms, legs, and
yeah.
neck.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, a moment for the writer to be like...
He learned his
He
lesson.
learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Or more like the
Do you-
writers learned their lesson.
Do you think the goblin after that was like, oh, like, oops? He's like, I just wanted him to struggle a little bit.
Probably. And like the moment where he's shaking his fist, like it's not just for the cover, it actually happens in the book where he's like, Goblin, you've killed the woman I loved. You
Yeah.
know, very 70s way of talking. No one's listening.
Darn you, Goblin!
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man just murders the Green Goblin.
Really?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, I was
It's-
gonna say, how did
it's-
he get his revenge?
It's pretty much, it's called Goblin's Last Stand, where indeed Green Goblin does die, just like Norman Osborn in the first Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
Right.
Same
He's
way?
impaled by
Okay.
his own glider. And so, like, back then, 70s and 80s, was like, Peter was at the Daily Bugle. He was with Mary Jane, but he had, like, a bunch of love interests. Because the thing is, like, you think of Peter, and he's a nerd, right? But the thing is, he's a good-looking guy. You know? He gets a lot of ladies.
He's got those spider genes.
Oh yeah, baby. And everybody, every writer is like, oh, I just want him to not be with Mary Jane. So I could like introduce this new hot female in his life who's gonna break up with him and ruin him. You know? That's every writer.
Yeah,
That's what they
okay.
always want to do, whether
Sure.
it's Black Cat or whoever the writer creates for that story.
Like, he can't just be a bachelor,
No.
just laying it down all over town.
Never.
No?
I mean, yes, that's what they want, but they always ruin it. They never actually let it happen.
Then it's just another Mary Jane. It's no different.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
like they're just creating more and more Mary Janes without even thinking about it. And this is Brand New Day, which happens after One More Day, where the devil Mephisto shows up, and I'll just talk to you about it right here. I want to do it on the podcast, but
This
we are
is
on
the
the podcast.
podcast,
I meant
yeah.
for like its own separate episode, but so what happens is during Civil War, Peter announces to the world that he's Spider-Man.
Do you want to dive into this book for its own episode?
We could.
Because I don't know if this is pertinent to this episode.
It kind of is.
Okay.
So, and I'll do it quick. So, during Civil War, Peter's identity is revealed.
Yeah.
So everyone knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man. The Kingpin sets a hit out on Spider-Man. But instead of killing Spider-Man, the assassin accidentally shoots Aunt May. And Aunt May's in the hospital and she's gonna die. And no one will help him. Not even Doctor Strange or whoever. And eventually the devil...
He's like, so this hitman's like, this old lady is Spider-Man? Okay.
No.
I guess.
So he's like, Aunt May and Peter are in the same room or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Misses.
the spider sense goes off, and he's like, haha,
Dodged it.
He dodges it. And then he's like, Aunt May. And so the devil Mephisto shows up, and is like, Spider-Man, I can help you. In this 4-part miniseries that Marvel editorial really wanted because they don't like the idea of Spider-Man being married. Because it makes him old. Only old people get married.
True.
You want young swinging bachelor Peter Parker. He can't be married. So
20-year-olds never get married.
Never. And you know what's even you know what makes you even older than marriage? Divorce.
True.
So we can't have them get divorced. We have to have the devil get them
How else?
Yeah.
Could you do it?
Exactly. How else?
Yeah. Because what's older than divorce?
The
Getting
devil!
back together.
Yeah.
No, think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and it's like after Brand New Day, Dan Slott shows up. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I hate the marriage. I hate Mary Jane. She'll still be in the book, though, but they won't date. I'm going to create so many different love interests. Why keep her in the book? I don't know.
I have a question about Mephisto.
Yeah.
So he's the devil.
Yes, he is.
Is that doesn't Doctor Strange see the actual devil, though?
That's Mephisto.
Not
he
called
sees.
Mephisto?
No, it's him.
Oh, okay. I'm wrong.
Here's the thing. Mephisto is like a cosmic god type thing,
yeah.
but he's also just the devil.
So the devil, he's not a mutant.
No, not like God in
But
the
Jesus
Marvel.
is the
yeah,
mutant.
Jesus.
Okay.
Let's
I
get
get
the
it.
X-Men out of here.
Yeah.
So they will not let Spider-Man
They
get
won't
married.
let him age.
Yeah, they won't let him age. He's been 20 forever. And
they don't want him to do anything that's even close to the idea of aging.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the problem is, like, DC does a reboot every so often. So they're like, okay, Crisis, Batman's 27 instead of 45. But Marvel's never done that.
So you wish they would do that instead?
No,
Because
I'm not saying
I didn't
that.
think you liked that in
No,
the
I
Crisis
don't.
either.
I don't.
How can we please you,
I'm
Vinny?
just saying, just let Spider... I just want to see
Yeah.
a Peter Parker with a little gray in his hair.
Sure.
You know, it doesn't have to be, like, a drastic aging, you know? Just over time, draw him a little older, draw him a little different, you know? And, like, my favorite Spider-Man run, which we have talked about on this show,
yeah.
which is also written by John Romita, or drawn by John Romita Jr. and written by J. Michael Straczynski, where this Peter is, like, 35. J. Michael Straczynski has no interest in writing about a teenage Peter. Like, this Peter is broke. He's sad. But J. Michael Straczynski is like, Mary Jane is a pivotal character in Spider-Man. She needs to be there. So he does this whole run to get them back together, only for Marvel to be like, okay, now erase it with the devil. So J. Michael Straczynski does write the devil story until he quits halfway through. He's like, I can't do this. And then the editor continues the story. So, it was a shit book. I'll find it maybe for
What credentials do you have to write Spider-Man? What do? You read the book and you go, yeah, it's good, I guess.
Yeah.
What do editors do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Editors just like check for spelling errors, but then they also just change your book.
So, okay. So
Yeah.
Spider-Man, he can't move forward.
Can't move forward.
He's stuck living in an apartment,
Yes.
single, broke, working for the Daily Bugle.
Yes.
How do we fix it?
How do we fix it? This is my pitch, right?
Go ahead.
So
I'm all ears.
okay.
I'm one giant ear.
Now, I don't know how to smoothly do this. Like, just because I don't know. Like, I want it to be in main continuity. So my idea is 2 Spider-Man books, 2 titles, right? You have a book called The Amazing Spider-Man, and then you have a book called Spider-Man, right? The Amazing Spider-Man And this is, probably going to make everyone go insane. The Amazing Spider-Man doesn't follow Peter Parker. It follows Miles Morales. Miles Morales is the main continuity Spider-Man in New York City.
I thought that's how the Amazing Spider-Man was anyways, is it not?
He is the ultimate Spider-Man.
Right, but didn't he come over to main continuity and now he's an Amazing Spider-Man?
He's not an Amazing. He's in another one.
Oh, okay.
He has, his own title.
Got it, okay.
But he is the Amazing Spider-Man. He's in New York. He's on the Avengers. He's doing all the normal Spider-Man stuff. And then you have another run, Spider-Man, which follows Peter Parker. He's married to Mary Jane. He's a little older, and he's not in New York City. He has moved out of the city to a small, maybe upstate New York town. Right?
Yeah, he's in Newburgh.
No.
he's in Pine Bush.
He's in somewhere nice. Yeah. I imagine him somewhere very quiet.
So you think he's got a house? He's living out maybe in the forest?
I'm thinking in the forest. Area. I'm thinking he's doing a little lumberjack
He's got a farm maybe?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
He's living a happy life with Mary Jane, maybe some kids.
How is this interesting to read?
Because I think... I don't know. I haven't thought too much
for
about
anybody
it.
but you.
But me. I think, you could still do a lot of cool Spider-Man things. You have an older Spider-Man,
is
right?
he still fighting villains?
There's crime everywhere.
True.
So he goes to this small town. It might not be as extreme crime, but this is a new way you could create some new, smaller villains. Not end-of-the-world story arcs. Just this character over here is causing a little trouble, and maybe he knows Peter, because it's a small town, let's say. Peter knows everybody. Okay. Peter has, an older, a different Spider-Man suit, maybe some new technology that we haven't seen him use before, right? Just
Okay, let me run this by you.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? So you've got the older Peter, he's got his family, he's got a house, he's got a car, whatever. He's living the deep suburb life, whatever, right? Remind me, is Old Man Logan what I'm thinking of, where he's just a regular guy?
Kinda, yeah.
He doesn't wear the suit or anything, right? So maybe he doesn't wear a suit.
Okay.
Maybe he's working as a detective? Would that be silly? Is that ridiculous? Or...
I could see Peter as a forensic analyst.
Sure, yeah, that works too.
My favorite Peter is a school teacher.
Yeah.
I want him to have a job with the people.
Yeah, maybe he works at a university though.
Yeah.
That would suit him.
You know what would be the most adorable job for Peter? He's the editor-in-chief at his local paper.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking, what if he was the editor of the Daily Bugle? He finally stepped up.
That would also be cool.
But I like this idea.
There's another paper in this small town, and he's the J. Jonah Jameson there.
Yeah.
But he's not get me a picture. He's nice.
He's still Peter.
Stuff.
Yeah, he's still a good
you know,
a good guy.
And you could every now and again have like Miles show up and be like, "Hey, Peter, I really need your help with something."
Yeah, totally.
You know, like he's not decrepitly old.
He's still useful as a hero.
But since he's older, you can see him slow down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could see him slow, like a little slower now. He can't like do the acrobatics as good as he used to be able to. You could have like, maybe the Rhino finds out that Peter Parker Spider-Man finds out that Peter's living in this small town, and he just causes a ruckus in the small town. You could have a little story arc. Peter, an older, slower Spider-Man versus Rhino, who's like his biggest, like, you know, most intimidating villain, destroying the small town and all the people that he loves. And he has to protect him and everything.
No, I love that. So, canonically, he has kids sometimes, right?
Sure. I mean, I want him to. Yeah.
He has, though, in a book.
Yeah.
Do they have
spider powers?
Yes. They do?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Actually, most of the time, yeah.
So
he has a daughter who becomes Spider-Girl.
Okay, cool. So so you could take that whole... you could have a whole storyline of him navigating having kids with spider powers, too. How come they haven't done more of that?
They have...
That's awesome.
They have done a
series. A Smallville-type thing, though.
I know. They have done a series called Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, which is, like, Spider-Man has a family and kids, right? And she has powers, the little kid. I haven't read that, so maybe it's literally what I'm talking about now. I don't know. And if it is, I should go read that.
Yeah.
But that's not in main continuity. You know,
Right.
Like-
That's just a little spin-off.
like
Whatever you
how much
call it.
longer are you gonna keep doing Spider-Man's broke and he's sad and he wants to be with Mary Jane, but goddamn it, he can't be with Mary Jane.
So here's the thing, though, is Miles Morales in his main... So he would be the main Spider-Man.
He'd be the main Spider-Man.
Would he not just be the same as Peter?
What do you mean? Like broke
He's
and sad?
broke and sad and single and living in an apartment.
Yes,
crappy apartment.
perfect. You could do that over there with him. I hope they don't. You could.
But
do
how is
something.
it different?
Well, he is a different person.
I get... yeah. No,
You know,
you're right.
Even if you
But-
have like, oh, Miles is broke. Don't make him work at the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
You know. Don't.
Make him his
Don't
own
introduce a
character,
character.
It's not just...
Carrie Bane. You know. Like,
it's not just Peter, too.
yeah.
It's like, it's Miles.
It's Miles.
Yeah, no, I love
you
that.
could
That would
write
be
your
awesome.
own stories that might be similar to Peter, you know, but do something new and different. And it's just like you have both your Spider-Men. Because right now, I don't even think there's a Miles Morales book going on.
Really?
I don't think so.
I thought he was like
He's probably
hot comic right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, he should be.
He should be.
He's got a movie. He has another movie coming out. He has,
really?
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming out. And he has his own video game.
Yeah.
Like, where's his book? I don't think he has one.
He probably does. Did you look everywhere?
Yeah, man. Ben Reilly, the clone, has a book, but I don't think Miles does.
Really?
Yeah. I've also heard that Ben Reilly book is really good. I should have picked it up instead of this
Yeah,
Amazing Spider-Man.
Ben Reilly, I've read it. He actually goes and he lives in a small town and he has a family.
Oh, great.
With like spider children.
Yeah.
And the Reiner
Reiner.
the Reiner comes in. The Rhino comes in and no, I don't know.
Like,
But that's kind of the idea of Ben Reilly, isn't it?
kinda. Like, he's the Peter Parker I want, where they could make him grow, make him be different, do something new. And
So is that main continuity?
Ben Reilly?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the Clone Saga
And
of
he's
Spider-Man.
like getting older?
Well, no.
Okay.
Also,
Would you bring Ben Reilly into your ideal Spider-Man that we've been talking about? Would you bring Ben Reilly into that at all?
sure.
Just like maybe not a whole comic, but just his
Maybe
own...
like a 2-issue mini story arc.
Sure.
Right? Ben
Yeah.
Reilly comes in, right? Peter has his kids, right? He could be like, "Oh, this is your Uncle Ben." Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible and I
cute.
love it.
No, I like it.
That's like, call me Marvel.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Like, in my head, I'm like, what do we do with Aunt May? Right?
Retirement home?
Retirement home.
Put her in a home?
I hate to
man.
say it, but like, I think it's time that like Aunt May dies for good. Is that like really harsh? Cause like I love
No,
Aunt
man,
May.
people die.
Yeah,
It's real.
she's been like
I mean, it's a comic.
she's
but-
been like 800 since 1963.
Yeah.
First Spider-Man comic, she's already 70 years
I
old.
think she's earned earned it. She deserves
she
some
deserves
rest.
rest.
Yeah,
right?
she's been shot and cloned
Yeah.
and whatever. Yeah.
And like, you could do a beautiful issue, right? Maybe she lives in the small town also, but not, with Peter. Just like down the street or whatever.
Oh man, you could have her live with Peter.
You could.
You could have
Change
her
it
live
up.
with Peter.
He's not living with her.
Yeah.
She's living with him.
that's great. Yeah.
My favorite thing that they did with Aunt May in like the 80s or 90s, I think. Aunt May used to run like a little old people's home out of her house, so there'd just be other old people living there, like Nathan Lebensky, who was her boyfriend for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, he
didn't
was
know
in like
she
a
ever moved
wheelchair.
on.
He was a gambling addict,
Oh.
and then he got killed by the vulture. Like,
Okay, so what I've learned is don't date
don't date
Aunt
Aunt
May.
May. Aunt May also dated J. Jonah Jameson's father,
Really?
and then he also died.
What's his name?
John, I think.
John Jonah?
Or J. Jameson. He's just J.
Okay,
John is J. Jonah Jameson's son.
got it.
They're all J's.
But he's not junior. Like J. Jonah Jameson isn't a junior.
I don't think
There's
so.
too many J's.
J. Oh my god. I don't know.
J. Never mind. Cut that out.
But like, I don't know what to do with Aunt May. I think you gotta kill her. Not kill her.
No,
just let her
make it
peacefully
not like
die.
tasteful. Not that she's
Yeah.
being like
Murdered.
murdered by a villain.
No.
But just let her die
Just
from
let her
old
go.
age.
And
then you can have like a touching moment where she says goodbye to Peter.
and that's like the send off for Peter, where he's like, okay, I'm an adult. You know, like clearly I'm an adult. I'm like
So you
40.
think that happens before he moves to the?
That's what
to
I was
the country?
thinking. I don't know. I kind of like the idea that they're still living near each other,
Yeah.
but maybe it's like, you know, Aunt May dies. There's
Okay.
Miles is Spider-Man. There's nothing left for Peter in New York. He has his family, right? And New York is in capable hands, right? Miles, the Avengers, the X-Men.
Yeah.
New York is safe. Peter, and you know, great power comes great responsibility, but there's other towns in the world that don't have a superhero.
Totally. Yeah, I think about that all the time.
You know? And this could be called... Okay, so you have the Amazing Spider-Man with Miles. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Relaunch it with Peter, and he's just in his
an
little
actual
town.
neighborhood.
Yeah. It's not that hard to do. It's just like a simple storyline.
Yeah.
Where... And it'd be cute, because, you know, the daughter or son could have spider powers. They could be relatively young. You know, you could have, like... You know, she's growing up or he's growing up. You have a lot of stories right there.
Totally. Yeah, you got a whole another generation of Spider-Man that you
Exactly.
could... Right. So, I think it could be neat to have the whole send-off of this book being Aunt May died.
Yeah.
Right? And she left Peter her house in Queens, so he sells it and moves to the country.
Yeah.
Like, how pleasant is that?
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because Aunt May's not attached to the house, I
Right.
gotta say. Because
Yeah.
she's moved.
Like, all the worst things that have happened to her have happened in that
Like,
house.
Uncle Ben was murdered in the house.
Sometimes.
In continuity, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
murdered in the house. In the movies, they get him out of the house. But in the comics, the burglar breaks into the house. Why would you still want to live there? You know?
wouldn't. No.
You wouldn't. And she's been doing it for 80 years?
She's a strong woman.
She is a strong woman.
Yeah.
You know?
She talks to his ghost, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. Is Aunt May omniscient? She can talk to the dead?
No,
I don't want
totally.
that. I just wanted to be...
Let's scrap all of this
Yeah.
and just write an Aunt May book. Where
We
she's
could.
secretly a god.
Yeah. Like... And, okay, here's...
Why would I not be surprised if
I know,
that
right?
happened?
Okay, you want to hear, like, a cool idea, right? So you're doing this story
Totally.
arc. I don't know how many issues this would be. Because here's the thing. The Amazing Spider-Man is the ongoing Spider-Man run. You can never cancel that one.
Right,
Right?
yeah.
So this could be a limited series, or it could be, like, an ongoing series. Let's say there's 100 issues, right? Of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, or just Spider-Man, or Peter Parker. Just call it Peter Parker, right?
That's great, yeah.
And the Parkers.
It's like Logan. Not
Yeah.
to keep bringing it back
I
to
know,
that,
yeah. Call it the Parkers.
but keeping up with the Parkers.
Keeping up with
Yeah.
the Parkers. Like, you have 100 issues. You see Peter age, Mary Jane age. You see her gray hair. Like, you know, she has to start dyeing it. It starts going a little gray. You get to see, like, the kid grow up. Maybe there's more than one kid, you know?
So I feel like, sorry to just derail this a little bit, but I feel like every time we've seen Spider-Man with his love interest, be it Mary Jane or whoever,
Yeah.
it's always that, like, teenage romance. I don't know if this is true, but I feel like we haven't seen him very much with, like,
In
an
the married
old-
life.
Yeah, like, they've been married for a long time.
Yeah.
They have a different dynamic.
Like, Peter and Mary Jane have been married for a long time in comics.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of it. But even, like, there's a difference from young marriage to, like, seasoned, like, older
Yeah.
marriage.
Yeah, complete
Right?
comfortability
Exactly.
with each other.
Like, yeah. You know, I don't know.
Like, they're not navigating how to live with each other, you know?
No, they know how to do that.
Yeah.
They're navigating how to raise a family in this new, like, town.
They've gotten through the hardest part of their relationship, and now they can settle down
Exactly.
and finally have just a moment.
And the thing is, at the end of this series, I don't want Peter to die. I don't want anyone to die. I think Peter deserves a happy ending, no matter what way you do it. Like, you can't...
So you want him to live forever? Starting to sound
No,
like the writers
okay.
of Spider-Man.
Okay, maybe he does die, okay? Maybe
No,
he
but you
dies,
don't have
but
to
like...
show it.
Yeah, of
No,
like old age.
like he's gonna die. Everyone's gonna
Of
die,
course.
but you don't have to bring it there. Like,
Yeah.
because otherwise you'd have to continue the story until he's 80. You know, but it could just be like happily.
Because, like, now I know, like, a problem with this is, like, well, if Peter Parker's 48, then what about Tony Stark? He's still 25. You're going to have to make everyone age, right? And I know that's a problem. But I think it's time for that. Like, not just for Spider-Man, but for everybody. Because you think about it, you watch the new Marvel movies, there's a new Thor, there's a new Hawkeye, there's a She-Hulk, there's all these legacy characters. Like, it's time for the legacy characters.
Yeah.
I know you could print Hulk books for the rest of your life. You could print Hulk books until the world collapses in on itself.
And Hulk will still be there.
And he'll still
talking
be
to
there.
Bruce.
Yeah. Hulk, that was a great choice for me to choose Hulk. But, like, Hulk will always be there, right? So, okay, let me choose, like, Iron Man or Captain America.
Because
like,
Hulk actually makes sense that he's still around.
Yes.
Because he is kind of timeless.
But, like, for Iron Man.
Iron Man,
right?
yeah.
You got characters like Ironheart, who is a young female Iron Man girl.
Yeah.
Right? Cool character. You could do a lot of great things with her.
Let Tony move to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And just live his life.
Marvel, if you call me, I will write, like, a whole maxi series
For every
character. Okay? I'll do it.
Yeah.
I will do it. Because I love these characters.
That means villains, too.
Oh, yeah. Norman? What, you think he's going to be
Norman.
crazy forever?
No, he's...
Probably.
Well, yeah, but he's old. Like,
Yeah.
think if
He's
Peter's
older than
45, he's got to be, like, 80.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, you could even see, like, a few funerals for Spider-Man's villains. Like, what if Norman Osborn just, like, dies?
Would he show up?
Norman?
No, Peter.
That's what I'm thinking, maybe. Right? It depends on where they are in the story.
Yeah, yeah.
If Norman's being a monster and evil, then probably not.
But if he's
Or maybe
turned
he would.
himself around.
Yeah.
Sure, no, I like that.
But, like, Doc Ock, right? Doc Ock has a history of also being a good guy. Like, he's redeemable. Peter would show up to that funeral. You know? Like, there's a lot of things you could do with not just Spider-Man, but all his characters. Like, you could introduce new villains for Miles. Right? You know, like, I don't know. I know their plan is just to print Spider-Man forever. But it's time for things to change a little bit.
So I saw a clip on YouTube. It was a YouTube short, and it was some Flash animated movie or show where he goes into a bar and one of his enemies is there, right? One of his villains is there, and he's so like gentle and kind to him, and he's like, "Well, I gotta take you back to jail." Have you
That's the
seen
Justice League cartoon.
Okay, because I love that so much,
And
I was thinking, how cool and sweet and beautiful would it be if he had like some old villain,
Yeah.
and he's like,
I gotta
take you back to
jail.
the retirement home
I
or
know.
to jail, you know, like.
Oh my god, what if
he's
there's like you take like the Shocker or some
Sure,
villain
yeah.
who's old but still like he's doing crime, but he's
he
really
wants
old
to be young.
Yeah,
but he's
and,
so
and Peter's
old.
like, you gotta stop. Like, you're 80.
We're both too old for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna punch you anymore.
No, he's gonna use his words.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you could still have Peter punch people in the
No,
comic,
but just like this one instance.
But just like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one instance, that could be the first issue, right? It starts Peter's in his new town, Mary Jane kid, whatever. He has a job. You show all that. Shocker shows up again, and he's old, right? Maybe he has like I don't know. Maybe he's dying of some disease. Make it really sad. He has cancer or something.
Sure.
Right. And Spider-Man's
That
like,
is sad.
yeah. And Spider-Man's like, I'm not gonna punch you, Herman. You know, I'm not gonna punch you
Is that his
anymore.
name?
Yeah, Herman Schultz.
Huh.
It's like, I'm not gonna punch you anymore. We've been doing this since 1963.
Yeah.
Right? It's time to stop. And Shocker's like, okay. Like, I guess.
Yeah.
You could have like
What
a real
else can I do?
heart-to-heart. Yeah.
What else can he do?
Nothing.
Hmm.
He's like, you're gonna die soon, Shocker. You have this disease, whether it's cancer or something else. Like, eventually, you're not gonna be around anymore. And the last thing, do you want to be a villain for the rest of your life? Like, for what little time you might have?
Like, what do you have to gain? Money?
Exactly.
Like, you can't take it with you.
Exactly. That's so sad.
I love it though.
That's great.
Yeah.
Like Marvel, if you don't call me, I'm gonna write this myself and just make it like Arachnalad or something, because this is a great idea.
Yeah, just pull like a Spawn.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. I want to read this.
Yeah, I was also
turned into
thinking
a one shot.
I know. Like if so you have Aunt May die, right? Very sad. Peter misses her a lot, but is like, okay, I'm an adult, I have a family, I gotta move on, right? You could have some big Spider-Man, like, storyline. They're always doing, like, Spider-Verses. There's even a new one coming out. I don't really want that to happen, right? But, you know, he is Peter Parker. He's gonna get dragged into it.
Sure.
I think there could be...
Once in a while.
Yeah. Like, there is a character, Madam Web, in Spider-Man, and I don't think you've ever heard of her.
No, I haven't.
I'll show you a picture, because I think it would be such an interesting idea. So, Madam Web is like this old woman who's like a spider-type character.
Yeah. She's
think,
like cosmic? What is...
She's kind of
like
cosmic,
the space
yeah.
cape.
She's usually like the one that brings all the Spider-Mans in the multiverse together.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wouldn't it be so... And you never see her without, like, the mask thing, like the little blindfold. You probably have. But, like, wouldn't it be so sweet if there's a Madam Web from another universe or something? Who's Aunt May?
For what point?
I don't know. Just for, like... I don't know. Like, if they were going to do a Spider-Verse...
Just so that Peter can see Aunt May?
Sure. One more time. I don't think you need it, but I know, like, if they were to do another Spider-Verse, they are definitely going to drag Peter in, even if he's living his own life and story. You could do something that doesn't just ruin his story.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
no, totally, yeah.
Because the thing is, they always do tie-ins where they just, like, you know, hit the brakes on whatever storyline's going on for, like, Spider-Man or Wolverine or whatever character to intercut this other main Marvel story that's going on, and it never fits. You know? So you have to make it fit in some way.
Like, give me an example. I don't know. What do you mean?
Like Civil War, right? You're reading Spider-Man, all of a sudden Civil War goes on. But if you didn't read Civil War and you're just reading Spider-Man, it's like, oh, the whole world knows Peter's Spider-Man? When did that happen?
And it's just issue to issue. Not like nothing has changed, but everything's changed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think those are all my ideas for this.
I like it.
Just like
I was thinking
older
about
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man in his home life and his kids going to school.
Yeah.
Maybe like thinking about them getting bullied. Maybe.
I know.
And he could be like, you know, I beat up a bully once.
Yeah.
And it was.
You could have
Peter
Peter do the great power comes great responsibility.
He totally
speech,
could. Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. I really like the idea of this is your Uncle Ben.
I love
with
that
Ben
too.
Reilly.
Yeah, I think that's cute.
That's
not
so
that
good.
Spider-Man should be cute, but
I think Spider-Man should be cute.
I think he deserves
sometimes.
it.
He does. He deserves a happy end. All the shit he's been through.
Yeah.
He deserves some happiness. You know?
I agree.
And like, I don't know. Like there is the story Spider-Man Life Story, which we should cover one day on the podcast.
Okay.
Because it is Spider-Man, like each issue is a different decade in Spider-Man's life. And it's my favorite Spider-Man book I've ever read, I think. Because it's kind of like this. It's what I want. It's Peter progressing, but it's not in main continuity. So we'll probably never see that again. And it's just like one issue of him being old, you know? And it's, you know, it's still sad. Like I don't want the sadness. I want Peter being happy. I know you need drama and some sadness in the story. Okay, you have the daughter and she's really sad about this breakup. Or you could have you want to tell a story about a young couple, will they, won't they get together? You have Spider-Man's kids.
Sure.
Right? They fall in love with someone.
They're a whole new avenue for
Spider-Man,
all these stories.
Peter's son meets a young redheaded girl that he really likes. You don't have to make her redheaded.
Mommy issues?
Oh, no, never mind.
No,
he
but I
meets a
know what you
blonde.
mean.
Right?
Yeah.
He's a blonde girl who doesn't fall off a bridge.
Yeah, Peter's like, stay away from bridges.
Yeah.
Her dad's a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it could be a really fun series.
Yeah.
And I wish they would do something like
It's too bad that will never happen.
I know. So
I think we did it.
I know.
I think we fixed Spider-Man.
I think so. I'm gonna go to Marvel headquarters and I'm gonna beat up everybody there, and I'm gonna say, please, please give me a job.
Have you learned nothing? You got to use your words.
You're right.
You got to approach it civilized.
I'll be like, hey Dan Slott, do you really want to be the villain forever?
Hey Dan Slott, why don't you go back to the old person's home? Okay? Is he old? How old is he?
He's like 50. I don't know.
That's good enough.
He's like as old as I want Peter to be right now.
He should know.
Yeah.
He should know how to write that.
Dan Slott's like, oh my god, Peter over 25. No way.
He's having a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
He's got to write Peter young so he can stay young.
Literally.
Live vicariously through Peter.
Like, I think... Okay, I don't know how old Zeb Wells is, who's writing the current Spider-Man run. They need to get someone who's young to write Spider-Man, because everyone who's older is going to write what they want their life to be.
You don't think a younger writer would just write him young still, though?
I don't know.
I mean, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I'm relatively young.
You're very young.
Yeah.
You're an infant.
I know.
Time for your bottle,
Yeah.
Vinny.
Because the thing is, like, I've been watching Spider-Man and reading Spider-Man ever since I was young, and all I've wanted to do is grow up. But now I'm almost at the age of where I've passed the age of where Spider-Man has gotten his powers for the first time.
Way past.
Way past.
Yeah, years past.
Years past. I'm like, at this time,
You're aging faster than an 80-year-old character.
At this time, I'm like a few years away from having my girlfriend thrown off a bridge.
Oh no!
I don't know how old Peter was.
You better warn her.
I know. Like, I don't know how old Peter was when that happened, but it couldn't have been more than 25.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you think 25? I feel like that's a bit old.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't even out of college.
Huh.
Or
Okay.
graduate school.
What was he going to school for?
Fuck if I know.
They don't tell you?
I don't know. They probably do.
It's
I don't
probably like
remember.
quantum physics
Probably
or something. Science, yeah. Bug science.
See, I love when Peter's a science teacher.
Yeah, I
Like,
know
that's,
you do.
That's so good. But I really like he's the newspaper editor at the local paper.
I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Why did he join the Daily Bugle? Because he's a
he just needed
photographer?
cash. He's not even a photographer.
So he doesn't even he doesn't really have like journalistic like desires.
I mean,
So is it fitting to put him in a role of,
true.
or is it just because he's got experience in it?
I mean,
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
Like working for the Daily Bugle,
yeah.
that's a good thing to have on your resume.
he did
you know?
stay for so long, so he must have liked it. Like, if he needed, if he needed money, he could have found something else.
Yeah, he could have gotten a pizza job.
Oh yeah. He could have worked at the local Taco Bell.
Made less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I see what you're saying. I think it's good. I like it.
plus, like, he's Spider-Man. He knows about the news and the villains. Like, it's all about the New York, his city, or now his town. He's gonna care about what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good way for him to keep an eye on what's going on around the town, I guess, without being there. Because he'll have journalists being like, "Yeah, over in Broadway, there's something going on."
So what's
You know?
Mary Jane up to then?
That's
Is
a
she
good
just
question.
a stay-at-home mom? Because that's kind of boring.
That is kind of boring.
Didn't she want to do?
Mary Jane is an actress.
That's what yeah.
She's been on soap operas. Honestly, she could be a stay-at-home mom. Because I think if she's an actress, she might have hit it big. She might have some money.
She's the breadwinner.
She's the breadwinner. Yeah. Right? Like, you could give Mary Jane something cool to do also.
I was thinking, what about like a newscaster?
Yeah.
Because that's
like
still,
the weather
that's
lady?
not acting. But the weather lady? Why weather?
I don't know.
It could be.
It could be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you could do with Mary Jane. I think Mary Jane's a really good and unused character.
Because she's
Untapped
always just
potential.
Spider-Man's
Girlfriend.
wife, love
Yeah.
interest,
Like, there's more you could do with her.
ex-wife.
Yeah. There's more you could do with that character. And if I can't think of something off the top of my head, it's because the only things they've ever done is actress.
Hmm.
What, she doesn't have a passion? Like another passion besides acting?
No, I mean, think about like actors, like not successful actors because they're still acting, but
Yeah.
people who maybe did a couple things,
Mhm.
but they move on. You know?
Yeah, you find something new. Maybe she likes the stock market, or like I don't know.
She's a Wall Street.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like maybe she has her own clothing, like her own fashion
That's interesting.
design, like her own. I don't know.
Yeah, the
She's
artist is
an
gonna hate you.
entrepreneur.
No, no. I think there is. You'd have to figure it out, but there is stuff you could do with. I almost said Aunt May with Mary
I
Jane.
think it'd be so cute. So like Peter, maybe before Peter's kids develop their powers, like maybe it takes a little while for them to have powers. They don't know he's Spider-Man, and like his son loves like Captain America and not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And Peter's like, ah, you know.
You don't think he would tell them?
Probably eventually.
He wouldn't like. I think he would like bedtime stories. Like this
Yeah.
one time
Oh,
I was
you're right.
fighting Green Goblin. You know.
Threw my girlfriend off a
Yeah,
bridge,
dude,
so I
you
killed
killed
him.
my-
I stabbed that bitch.
But then I met your mom.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
all right. Oh, but your mom was dating my friend Harry,
And then
so I had
Paul.
to kill him.
And then she married Paul. And had two other kids that aren't you.
Horrible.
No, I'm sorry for bringing that up.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of a fresh wound.
Yeah, the new Amazing Spider-Man run is pretty mediocre. There's a lot of cool things in it. Like I do like seeing John Romita Jr. back, even though his art is not quite as great as it used to be. But there's still something about it that I do love.
It still looks neat.
It does. John Romita
It
Jr.
looks better than
It has
the
in a
other
while.
recent Marvel books that you've shown me.
Yes.
That all look like copy paste the same.
Yeah.
Like it still has that look to it.
You need a good inker and colorist with John Romita Jr.
Yeah.
Because if you give him like a bad inker or colorist, his work's gonna look like shit.
It's almost like they have to interpret it
Yeah.
than just directly what he. I mean, I don't really know.
You
the
see
process.
here, Peter with stubble, with
Yeah.
a beard.
I like
That's
it.
what I want. That's my favorite look for Peter.
He looks like he's been through it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Imagine if he had a little gray. Little gray in his hair. Like Mr.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic, yeah.
That'd be great.
That's the classic comic book gray hair.
I know.
Just on the sides.
No.
He'd look like J. Jonah Jameson.
Should he grow the mustache?
He totally should. Does he
that's-
like J. Jonah Jameson?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no. But yes.
As much as you can like your boss.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely have had like heart-to-hearts and like meaningful moments together.
Yeah, I remember you telling me, I don't know if you told me about this actually. Was there a time where he like defended Peter from like the Green Goblin or something?
Yeah.
I know he did in the movie, but I didn't
There
know if
are
that
moments
was in the
where
comics.
J. Jonah Jameson will defend Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like,
Because like he's trying to sell papers, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
in Ultimate Spider-Man, spoilers for the end of Ultimate Spider-Man, the comics, Peter Parker dies.
Mm-hmm.
He's killed by the Green Goblin. And J. Jonah Jameson...
Finally.
Yeah. And J. Jonah Jameson isn't like, oh, yes! He's sad.
Mm.
He's like, oh, I spent all my life tearing down this young hero who I didn't even know was under my employment. He was this good kid. And he likes Peter. You know, like, Peter's like a little asshole, but like, he's a good
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, seeing J. Jonah Jameson mourn, not just for Peter, but for Spider-Man, that's, like, growth for that character. You know? J. Jonah Jameson is also a really good character. You could even have him in this series, maybe. I don't know where he'd fit in.
Would he help Peter get his job?
Maybe.
He'll be like a reference.
What if they, like, email each other?
Yeah.
They're like old people, they don't text. They email, and they're like, hey, J. Jonah Jameson, so today in my job, I got this really cool, my journalist, Peter...
Oh, they're
Yeah.
like pen pals.
Yeah.
That's cute. They could like get coffee.
Yeah.
He could like try
Then
to
meet
go to
up,
the
like,
city.
once a month.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Like, you could still... I'm not saying shove out every character who's not Mary Jane out of Peter's life
Yeah.
for this series. You could bring them all back in. But, you know...
They just don't have to play the same roles that they
Exactly.
did before. That they have been for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree. I like it.
Me too.
Is that it? I think we fixed Spider-Man.
I think so. Call me, Marvel.
Yeah. No, do it. Call him.
Do it.
Here's I'm gonna say his phone number out loud.
Oh no.
It's 845.
You don't even know my number.
What?
God damn.
Why would I?
Yeah, you just hit the big button that says Vinny.
Yeah. It doesn't even say your name.
Oh.
Yours doesn't have my name on
it
there.
says the antagonist.
Yeah, you're the protagonist. Yeah. We're so cute.
I know. We're like Spider-Man and Mary Jane.
Yeah.
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 Let's have some kids.
I'm gonna leave you for a guy named Paul.
Have 2 random kids.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. I really enjoyed this.
Me too.
This was fun.
Should we fix other characters?
Yeah, I was gonna say, who should we fix next?
Batman!
Batman, we're coming for you.
I think Batman's actually doing alright right now.
Is he?
Yeah. Alfred's dead, which kind of sucks, but...
That's sad.
It is very sad. Bane broke his neck.
But maybe that's needed.
Maybe it is. Batman's actually going through it. He's poor. He lost all his money. He's living in like an apartment.
He's turning into Spider-Man.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
But we haven't seen that for Batman yet, so it works.
Yeah, right. It's fresh. It's still fresh for him.
Yeah. He's gonna meet a nice red-headed woman. Oh god, Vicky Vale is a character who actually has red hair.
Oh, before we start talking about Batman for an hour.
Good night.
Good night. Go to sleep.
You need a melatonin.
Yeah. If you're driving.